Welcome to the Loveland All Sports Podcast, where the land of love can get updates on not only Loveland sports, but learn and discuss many sports topics. Shoot any ideas you want to lovelandallsports@gmail.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Loveland All Sports Pod. Loveland All Sports Pod is sponsored by Meredith DeWitt of Brittany Fritch Realty, Loveland's #1 boutique brokerage. Contact Meredith for any and all of your real estate needs at meredithbfteam@gmail.com. This episode, we get to know Coach Rob Reis of the Loveland boys basketball team. Been our coach for 10 seasons, and we learned about his passion for sports, his favorite part of coaching, and our outlook on the upcoming season. So please enjoy this episode. All right. Well, hello, Loveland. We are here tonight getting to know our Loveland High School boys basketball coach, Coach Rob Reis. Coach is a true Renaissance man. Not only is he a history teacher, but he's a basketball coach, a past football coach, a musician, a golfer, a dad, a good friend of mine. We've known each other since our high school days back at Sycamore, where we played football together. Good evening, Rob. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking me to come on the podcast. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. I've known a lot about you and whatnot, but we wanted the community to get to know a lot about you and learn a little bit about your basketball philosophy and how the season's going and all that good stuff. So thanks for taking some time in true podcast format. Let's start to get to know you a little bit better. Where'd you grow up and where's home?
I grew up in Montgomery, Ohio. Lived in the Montgomery community until I was like 14. Then I moved to Blue Ash. I went to Sycamore High School, and which those two communities both funnel into Sycamore High School. But home is Loveland, Ohio. When my wife and I got married, we moved here and have been here since 2003, so 22 years.
It's crazy, isn't it? And then you're a teacher at Sycamore now?
I teach 8th grade American history at Sycamore. I've been there for about since 2000, so about 25 years.
Okay, great. And where'd you go to school? College?
I went to Miami University. I graduated from Miami University in 1997.
Awesome. So how many years have you been coaching basketball?
I've been coaching basketball since 1998, so about 27 years. I started as a junior high coach at Fairfield Middle School my first 2 years, and then coached at Sycamore High School for several years, lower levels, and coached at Mason High School as a varsity assistant, and then been the head basketball coach at Loveland for 10 seasons.
10 seasons. I'm trying to figure it out if it was 8, 9, or 10, so 10. Then you also coached some football, too, where you were at Sycamore.
I did. I love football. I loved coaching football. I coached football for varsity football at Sycamore for 10 seasons. Coached lower levels leading up to that. So, yeah, I coached football all the way up until I accepted the Loveland basketball position.
What is it that you were at that crossroads. Well, your varsity experience at Mason helped you get on that path, but maybe I didn't answer the question already, but why didn't you just go towards the elevated career or elevated level of coaching football?
I certainly thought about it. I actually applied and interviewed for several head football positions a long time ago. And actually, I for a long time, I thought I wanted to be a head football coach at the high school level. But I've always loved the basketball too. I played basketball when I was in high school. And I got this opportunity to come to Loveland and coach in my home community and where my kids go to school. And it's all worked out pretty well. So
what are the pros and cons in varsity basketball versus varsity football? You both have to be challenging, but there's got to be some pros and cons to it.
One thing I like about basketball, I like the more intimate feeling of a smaller team. I do kind of appreciate that a little bit. It's just, you got your 12 or 13 guys and it feels a little bit smaller. Basketball practice is a lot more fun to me than football practice. Football Friday nights are awesome, and I loved football Friday nights, but football practice can get extremely monotonous. And that's not a negative of football. It's just kind of the way the sport is set up. But I'll tell you what, I love to coach in football, and it really just this opportunity hit me, and that's kind of why I ended up this path. But it gone either way.
Yeah, no, it's great. We're lucky to have you here. I've thought about this a lot. I've done a ton of youth coaching, and people always ask, oh, you're such a football guy. Why don't you love coaching football? And it's like, in football coaching, you do all the preparation, you call the play, and then it's out of your hair and you hope it gets run well. But in baseball and basketball, that's what I loved about coaching those, was that I felt like I was making more of an impact in the game.
especially like in baseball. You see a tendency and you tell a kid to move over or throw a different pitch at the right time, or in basketball, call the right play. I felt like I was more involved in the game than I was at football. Does that make sense?
Yeah, basketball moves so fast, and it's just such a fast game, fast reaction. Yeah, I mean, as a coach, I think it's a fine line between making adjustments, but then I also think there's times you just got to let your team play a little bit and play through mistakes. And at times I think I've learned to sit back a little bit and let our players work through some of those things. Football, yeah, it's you have a little more control from play to play, but yeah, they both bring. What I've always told people is I think football, it's the X's and the O's that's a little more challenging. With basketball, it's every player has to kind of be good at everything. The specialization of a basketball player is not as much.
Yeah. Well, and it's changed a little bit over the years, because the days of having a big guy on the block and feeding it into him and kicking it out. I was at the UD Marquette game the other night. My dad and I were watching this, and UD's got a stud kid from Ohio State, and then they have this young kid from France, 7'1". Kid was phenomenal. And he's on the wing doing 5 out. Then he lights up a 3, and it's like the game has changed completely. My dad's 70 whatever, and he's a basketball purist and loves the game, but we're just like looking at how much the game's changed, because back in the day, you'd have the 6'10" and the 7'1" on the blocks, and we just feed it to them. And now they're out on the wing all day long. So it's changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, players are, we call it positionless, call it what you want, but, players have developed different skills than maybe when you and I were younger. And I'll never forget watching The Last Dance with my son over during COVID, right? When The Last Dance about Michael Jackson came out, and
Michael Jordan,
sorry. There was a lot of,
Rob's a musician, so the Michael Jackson slip was good.
Yes, the Michael Jordan documentary, but, watching a lot of those clips, you had Patrick Ewing and Akeem Olajuwon and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Cartwright and all these centers who mainly purely played with their back to the basket. And I remembered my son, who was much younger at the time, asking me, like, did these guys ever shoot threes? And I said, no, they didn't then. But now everybody shoots the 3, and it's great. I love it. We encourage all our guys to work on the shot. We like multifaceted, skilled kids.
Yeah, makes sense. So more importantly, you got 3 kids that went through Loveland. Talk a little bit about them.
I do. My daughter, Gina, graduated. She's a junior in college now. And she was the Florida Gulf Coast University. And my daughter, Maggie, is a senior at Loveland High School. And my son, Drew, is a sophomore. And yeah, they've been through Loveland all the way through. And we are so thrilled that they have gotten the opportunity to go through Loveland School District. It is a fantastic school district, and it's been very good for our family.
Nice. Good to hear. And all involved in sports. I mean,
yes,
from the time they were little up through high school.
And other activities also.
Yeah.
That's what we like about Loveland. It's got a smaller field, but it gives opportunities for whatever kids want to be involved in.
And then Allie, your wife, she's also an educator over in Mason, right?
She is. She's a first grade teacher at Mason Early Childhood Center.
Nice. And I always joke about this. I mean, we've got our real jobs, but Rob's got 2 of the best jobs on the planet. He's a coach, and he's also a musician. Talk a little bit about your music hobby.
Yeah, I love music. I've been playing music really since I was in high school, and have been lucky enough to have a group of guys that we've all kind of stuck together and played music for a long time. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's great. Thanks for all the time you guys do and social lives around playing music and whatnot. It's been a lot of fun listening to you. So, and it was fortunate to be selfish for a little bit. About 9 years ago, when our boys were in 2nd grade, we coached rec basketball together. When the boys were in 2nd grade, obviously. And at that age, the goal is to teach them fundamentals and maybe get the orange thing in the orange thing. That's sort of teaching the kids. There's an orange ball goes in the orange hoop. And I thought it was awesome because I had a varsity basketball coach on my staff, and it was great. We learned the hard way, though, that a few coaches complained about us that we played too hard at defense. And I said, well, I'm sorry. We got a varsity coach that's our assistant, and it was a great thing to teach at 2nd grade. So that was a lot of fun when we were, I don't remember what our team name was, but we had a lot of fun, and now it's pretty cool seeing some of those boys on the court for you on Varsity. It's pretty neat.
It seems like it wasn't that long ago. I mean,
No.
time moves fast, but yeah, those are good times. I had a lot of fun doing that.
So do you follow college and pro basketball?
I would say that I followed college more than I do professional basketball. Professional basketball. When I was a kid, I followed professional basketball more, but not as much as a grown.
Who's your team? UC or Ohio State?
I've always been a UC basketball fan. That's all. My dad kind of ingrained that in me a little bit. He grew up during the Oscar Robertson and from the great teams of the 60s and 70s. So just always followed the Bearcats.
And then, well, speaking of Bearcats, it's always a good story in our family because my wife, Meredith, you guys grew up together.
Yes.
Same age at Sycamore, and through Meredith's family's restaurant, they always had good UC tickets. And she wanted to make sure I brought up how funny it was that you used to go to UC basketball games with my wife back in high school and back in the Van Exel days and Fortson and those boys. So it's pretty funny. When you watch a college game, are you a fan, or do you sit there and open up your phone and write down notes or look at that play or anything?
I'll be honest, when I sit down and watch college basketball, I'm usually just trying to relax a little bit and just like to watch. But I mean, I'd also be a liar if I didn't say if I see something I like and I think would work for our team.
But does that cause you to have to sit and think about it during the game and be like, oh, what did you do there? Rewind it. Let me see where that guy cut from or whatever.
Yes, I've done that before. Sure. I'm sure. Not all the time. The one thing with coaching basketball is the internet there's so much good material online. If you're looking for something, you can find it.
That's true. So, I mean, you talked about why basketball, but what's the most fun part of being a head coach? I mean, you can coach youth if you want. You can be an assistant if you want. What do you enjoy best about being a head coach?
Without doubt, the relationships that I create with players. I mean, that's why I think all of us do it, whether you're coaching second grade or coaching varsity. I think just being around kids that are excited to come play basketball excites me. And we've got such a great group year in and year out. That's what I enjoy the most, just getting to know kids.
Really, only one team can win state. It's like if you're coaching or playing to win state, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So it's pretty to see what you built here. So cool. Let's take a little brief intermission here and enter what I call Josh's smoking seat. I'm going to rattle off 10 easy questions just to get to know you a little bit better, and where the community can also rip on you if they believe the other way. But first of all, Skyline or Gold Star?
Skyline.
LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Did you stay on the Bengals bus for 31 years and no playoff wins?
Yes.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
What's your first concert?
Neil Young, 1988.
It's a good one, especially for your music hobby. Tiger or Nicklaus?
Tiger, but Jack Nicklaus was right just because of my age. I didn't get to see Jack play a lot, but I love Tiger Woods.
When you eat cereal, do you put the milk in the bowl first or the cereal first?
Cereal.
Okay. Last one. Cats or dogs?
Well, I have 4 cats at home, so I do love dogs too. I've never had a dog personally, but I would love to have one, but got to go cats.
Awesome. That was my son Charlie's tradition.
That was a setup question.
You got to ask Coach about his cats. So awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time to do that. Just, I think I would have answered them all the exact same way with, you can show your age when you're talking about the Bengals bus, Jordan, your comment about Nicklaus, whatever. But awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the team. You've been head coach for 10 years. How would you describe your coaching philosophy?
Well, I try to keep it simple. When we talk to our players, we basically break it down to 2 things: play hard and take care of your teammates. And we tell our guys, like, if you do those 2 things, we'll go with the results. We'll take the results. That's the most we can ask for. I think our program starts with playing defense and a level of toughness and grit that I think we have to instill in our players. Offensively, we share the ball. We like to push and transition and play fast, but we also have an understanding of sharing the ball and moving the ball, and a very team-oriented concept, I guess, is the way I would try to put it.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched a game, taking care of each other is evident on any 50-50 ball, as coach calls it, where the two players have a 50-50 chance of getting it, and you will see them dive all over the court. And when one guy dives and maybe he didn't get it, there's 4 dudes right there picking them up to get them on to the next play. And that's pretty evident of taking care of each other.
And you know, I would be remiss not to say that those are things that I would love to tell you. Those are things that I started necessarily, but they're not. They're things that players that have been here over the last couple of years really wanted to do and asked. And I said, yes, absolutely.
Really?
So
That's cool.
I try, you know, we always talk about being a player-driven program as opposed to a coach-driven program, and that's.
Well, you can see the difference at every level. I mean, you watch, like I was at a college basketball game Saturday, and I think Dayton did it, but Marquette didn't. And I notice that now on every level when I watch, and you see these teams that they funnel to go pick their buddy up, and other teams don't. It's just a little nuance.
And I think it's got to be sincere. It's not. I think our guys do it because they truly care about their teammates.
Right. What about 2024? Any goals? That's a great philosophy, but do you have any team goals this season that you can share?
Well, I mean, our goal is to win as many games as we can,
Right.
obviously. But you know, basketball is such a long season, and it can be a grind, and really what the goal is to get better every single day. And I know that sounds so like coach cliche type stuff, but it really is to expect huge jumps and huge gains in a short period of time is just not always realistic. So I think keeping it simple, get a little bit better every single day. You know, we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of the season. And that can be frustrating at times because it doesn't always show early, but that's where we want to be. At the end of the season, we want to be playing our best team basketball.
Nice. That's good to hear. Also something I've witnessed. Talk a little bit about what you do outside of varsity to help build an entire program.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have a JV team, a freshman team that our coaches are all aligned. You know, these are, first of all, we've had a great staff, a consistent staff for a long time, which has helped. But yeah, our varsity, our freshmen and JV teams run our systems. Our 8th grade and 7th grade run our systems. We have a very tight program when it comes to 7 through 12, but then at the same time, you know, it even goes lower than that. We have a great relationship with Loveland youth basketball. We have for a long time, and they have been so helpful in promoting our program and the girls program too. Loveland youth basketball does a great job with us and the girls program and getting kids to play, and the numbers that Loveland youth basketball has increased the amount of kids playing over the last 8 to 10 years has been really, really neat to see.
Yeah, your summer camp is a sight to see. I mean, how many kids come to that?
We usually have around 220 kids or so at our summer camp, and it's 3 sessions, so they're not all there at the same time. Right. But yeah, we love our summer camp, and it might be the single best thing we do, you know, in the off season, just the number of kids who come, and I'm very proud of it. I'm extremely proud of our players who come work it. They do such a nice job, and that's the comment I always get is nobody cares about the old coaches that are there hanging out. It's the high school kids that are working with our 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, you name it. Those are the kids that those are the ones that the young kids remember.
Well, it's a lot of popsicles.
A lot of popsicles.
Both my boys have gone to your camp, and even the year that my one kid wasn't going to play basketball or try out for basketball, I should say, he still wanted to go to the camp.
Dunkzilla? Are we talking about Dunk?
Yeah. But it's great to see. Great to see. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about this season. Looking at the ECC standings, we're 2-2 right now, 0-2 in the league. Like you said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Talk a little bit about this season, and maybe talk a little bit about what teams are in the top of the ECC.
Well, right now, Whitten Woods and Kings would seem to be, I guess if you probably asked the coaches who the so-called favorites would be, just on returning players and talent, they've had a great start. Here's what I'll say about, I think the ECC is a great little league. And here's what I will say, and I think all 9 other coaches in the league would agree. Like, you need to show up every single night to have a chance to win. There's no easy nights. There's no teams where you're going to be able to come in and say, hey, if we don't play hard, we are still going to win. That just doesn't happen in the ECC. And it hasn't always been like that. The league has really, really improved and got stronger in the last 5 to 6 years. We've had an okay start. We've had 2 good victories and 2 tough losses where we just didn't quite take advantage of all the opportunities we had. We're anxious and looking forward to tomorrow night against Milford. So we try not to, we try to learn from games we have played, but it's on to the next one.
Yeah, I was at the West Claremont game where we had our good shooter going against their good shooter, and the differential of how much you lost by was the differential on their number 1 versus our number 1. That's good.
Yeah, and West Claremont had a great night. They've got a much improved team, and that was a very close game all the way down to the end of the game. They got a couple turnovers. We turned the ball over, and they got a nice run in the fourth quarter, and that was the difference in the game.
Yep. Well, and I think, your philosophy of what you said earlier about having the 7th and 8th grade run your system, that is huge. I've argued with so many people in this community with my 3 kids when they were in junior high about why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? And they tend to forget that they're going to Loveland Middle School and the goal is to build a program. And if we can run the same offense in basketball or in football or girls basketball or girls volleyball to even help them get ready for high school, regardless of the level, that's a great thing, and that'll help you develop the pattern to win late in the season. Talk a little bit about your seniors.
We've got 4 seniors on this team, 3 senior captains. 2 of them, you mentioned junior high. 2 of them have been in our program since they were 7th grade. Benjamin Tibbs and Will Bertoli, 2 really, really good leaders. I mean, you're not going to find 2 better kids at Loveland High School than these 2. Will Berkey, who we were fortunate enough moved in as a sophomore to Loveland. He came from Toledo, and he has been a really, really nice player for us. He started last year as a junior, started every game. He's our lone returning starter from last year. And then Rylan Rivera, who came in from Arizona for his senior year. The Rivera's family is a very nice family. It's been a pleasure to get to know them. And Rylan's been a great addition to our program, too. Tough moving during your senior year. Right. He's just made a really, really nice adjustment and fit in really, really well with our program. Very, very proud of him.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned that you got a great staff. Talk a little bit about them and what they've been doing.
We do. We're lucky to have, we've had a very consistent staff. Adam Gleim is one of our varsity assistants, and he started as a freshman volunteer coach probably 7 years ago, and then became the freshman coach and is now our varsity assistant. Matt Knott is another varsity assistant we have. Coached here for 5 years, left for a few years, came back. Griffin Williams, our JV coach, has been with me every year for 10 years now. Has done a great job, as well as Roger Orsinelli, who is a volunteer coach. He's actually been a volunteer coach for 18 years. He was here before I was the head coach. Really? Has been here for a very, very long time.
He's also my golfing buddy. I'm golfing.
He is. He's a pretty good golfer, I hear. And Roger is. You're not going to find, and his wife Barb, who's a PE teacher in the district.
Our golf coach too,
and our golf coach was. I think she's not anymore, but yes. Just great folks. And our freshman coach is new. His name's Tyler Hirano, great guy. And then probably one of the huge thrills for me is we have our freshman assistant coach is Ian Cox, who was a former player, and first time they have a former player come back and coach. And that's been a lot of fun.
That's great. Good to see. Well, I know I got to make a comment. It's not always about the wins and the losses, and especially at a school like Loveland, we keep waiting for those 6'8" twins to move in, but they just don't happen to move here. But since I'm, our older kids are around the same age, Rob, I've seen every time a former player walks up to you over the years, it's always a big bro hug. It's a very genuine conversation. And that tells me that you're respected by them once they're in college and they, think about, life and whatnot, and they come back and have that reaction to you that they learned something from you that was a lot more than just wins and losses, and you did your job as a coach by turning those boys into men. So nice work there. Anything else you want to add tonight? It's been a good conversation, but We
It is. I appreciate, and this is cool that you're doing this. And I'm just very proud of our team, our players, our program. Love living in this community. Can't, one thing I tell people that's special about Loveland is I love coming to, whether it's a football game, a basketball game, any name the sporting event, you see people from our community coming out and watching Loveland athletics, and they don't even always have a kid on the team or a direct interest in the game, but it's so neat to see this community support. And you're right. It's a public school, and some years you're gonna have more talent than others. But the fact that our community rallies around these types of things and understands the importance of giving kids opportunities, whether it be sports or theater or you name the activity.
Right.
We are extremely lucky to live in a supportive community like we do.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Thanks. I mean, many of you that know Rob or you've listened to him, you can pick up his very quiet demeanor that he has. But if you take a look at him coaching on a Friday night when he gets on a player for not getting back on defense, or better yet, the pictures and videos when we knocked off Kings a few years ago and Coach Reis stormed our student section to thank them for cheering on the team. That's the two sides of Rob, the quiet demeanor guy, and then the guy, the basketball coach that gets in the moment. So it's great to see. Keep doing the good things you're doing, and thanks for spending some time, and best of luck this season with the Tigers competing in the ECC.
This episode is sponsored by Cappy's Wine and Spirits in downtown Loveland. Tap room, bottle shop, meeting place, great music, gift ideas, and a traditional watering hole. Visit Cappy's for your upcoming holiday needs or watching the upcoming college football playoff games. Hope you all enjoyed this podcast. We're always looking for other ideas that share great sports stories, so please send any ideas to me at lovelandallsports@gmail.com. Peace.